everyone, if you don't know me, my name is Eleanor Haini. I'm a student of Islamic Education Department of UIN Maulana Malik Ibrahim Malang. I'm going to be talking about the role of Islamic education in COVID era 19. I will begin by definition of Islamic education, and then I will go on the orientation Islamic education in the COVID era 19. Finally, I will explain the role of Islamic education in the COVID era 19. It should take 20 minutes to cover these issues. I will be handing out copies of the PowerPoint slides at the end of my talk. There will be time for questions after my presentations, okay? Okay, did you know what is the essence of Islamic education? What is the role of Islamic education in the COVID era 19? As happening today, do we really need Islamic education in current conditions? We can analyze it by paying attention to environmental and community conditions that occur today. According to an article I read recently, the existence of COVID-19 has destroyed the education order. Therefore, the reorientation and role of Islamic education must be adapted to the needs of the times while still paying attention to the values of Islamic education and local wisdom, so that Islamic education does not lose its participant. Okay, in this part of my presentation, I would like to tell you about definition of Islamic education. Islamic education is an effort to foster and nurture students so that they can always understand Islamic teachings as a whole, with the aim of achieving understanding and practice and making Islam a way of my life. Let's move on to the next topic. The reorientation of Islamic education in the COVID era 19 can be seen through three things, namely 1. Islamic reasoning based on Al-Quran and Al-Hadith. Al-Quran and Hadith start in preparing Islamic educations. The curriculum and various research to support Islamic education are also based on the primary source of Islamic teachings. With reasoning based on the Quran and Hadith, credibility and authentication that are relevant to the times will be created. 2. Human research. Competence and capability of human research are a central factor in Islamic education. Why? Because change time demand adaptive Islamic education. 3. The existence of COVID-19 requires that the entire learning process be carried out online. Thus, the technology infrastructure needs to be prepared early to anticipate such conditions, as well as qualified human research. So that the background, the orientation of Islamic education in COVID era 19, our second topic presentation today. Let me now come back to what I said earlier. The last point is role of Islamic education in the COVID era 19. In the COVID era 19, Islamic education is required to revitalize the role of Islamic education. Following Amartya Hilmi, in his book Democracy Universal Value quoted by Masdar Hilmi, identified the Islamic education is required to play three roles, namely 1. Intrinsic role, meaning the religious education must be able to develop and strengthen the intrinsic values in each individual. 2. Instrumental role. As an instrument, education plays a role in leading students to achieve spiritual and social degrees through externalizing all the potential that is deposited in them, which are then objectivated in daily life so that they are automatically internalized into character. 3. The role of constructive Islamic education institutions that are able to build Islamic character of students who are embedded in a life of harmony and peace. To wrap up, after you heard what I have to say, I hope you can find key points from these sessions. Well, this brings me to end of my presentation. Just to summarize the main points of my talk. 1. Islamic education is effort made by education to educate students about religious teachings so that they can be understood and practice and achieve the shared goals. 2. The reorientation Islamic education in COVID-19 can be seen through three things, namely Islamic reasoning based on Al-Quran and Hadith, human research, and technology. 3. Based on Amartya Hilmi's opinions, in his book Democracy Universal Value, quoted by Masdar Hilmi, Islamic education is required to play an intrinsic role, an instrument role, and a constructive role. Okay, are there any questions? If not any question, I want to close my presentation. Thank you and wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.